Bitcoin finally on the move, up 3% at 87K today. Are we now in an uptrend confirmation after finally breaking out of this recent downtrend? We're seeing gold print new all-time highs every single day. We're also seeing Trump calling for rate cuts. So what is on the horizon for Bitcoin as the digital gold, as we see traditional gold literally on one of the biggest bull runs that we've seen it in recent history? Let's go over altcoins that I'm looking at, that I'm isolating and buying in this market, and also what should we be looking at on the horizon for Bitcoin price action. Let's jump into it, guys. Like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more every single day and every week right here on In the Game. We have you covered from crypto gaming, AI, RWA, and more. And a big shout out to all of our sponsors down below in the description. You can check out 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗔, Medieval Empires, Cradle Games, as well as our exchange partners Blowfin, Bybit, and 𝗿𝗏𝗡 in the description down below. And if you're not already using our software product here, 𝗥𝗡𝗥 is the all-in-one market aggregator. It has every piece of data from on-chain analytics to NFTs to coins, watch list, different things that you need to navigate this market, as well as one of the most in-depth portfolio trackers in the entire industry. We also have on-chain perps and equities going live here very shortly. You can sign up absolutely free down below in the description to 𝗥𝗡𝗥. And let's jump right into it. I mean, obviously, we're seeing the market finally move. And it does feel like, number one, all of the tariff news, the most part of the downside there, I think, is behind us. Like, the market doesn't really care anymore. We've heard about everything we can about the tariff wars, the trade wars, etc. And right now, we're actually seeing a setting where it's crazy to say this. Trump's saying that Jerome Powell is a major loser and that we need to actually do rate cuts now. Now, is this going to play out? We'll see, but I do think there will be rate cuts. We'll see a little bit of QE later this year due to everything that's going on in the economy since Trump has taken office. But overall, guys, and I think I say this so much, today is just one of those small examples of time in the market beats timing the market. And also looking at the majority opinion, like most people on the timeline have been so bearish. We're going lower, market's gonna nuke, looking at 60K as targets. I've seen some crazy stuff. And when the overwhelming majority is leaning one way, typically, you know, that actually doesn't end up playing out. I feel like there was way more bears than bulls over the last couple of months in this market. And those are typically the time to be putting in DCAs. And we had been DCAing on quality altcoins here on this channel. First of all, like Gun, and I know that Gun is printing today as far as up 17%, back up at $600 million FDV. But also, if we look at the weekly charts here, we have XAI up 38%, but my number one AI token in my entire portfolio, as well as my number one play that we have given every single time we talk about AI on this channel during this dip, which is 𝗏. 𝗏 on the weekly is now sitting up 27%. So buying quality altcoins in this market when people were scared to buy. People may have been low on liquidity. Your favorite influencers telling you we're going lower. You always want to have exposure to the top protocols and top sectors in crypto because look, it's hard to time the tops and bottoms. Just theoretically speaking, no one is going to be perfect on timing the tops and timing the bottoms. But what you can do is have 50% of your on-chain capital exposed to crypto and then also keep 50% in stables. You could come up with your own strategy in that regard. But I will say it again, time in the market will beat the timing the market every single time. So shout out to anyone that had exposure, that was putting in DCAs on some of these quality alts at the lows, because today we see, of course, the biggest bull in the world, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy buying 6,556 Bitcoin. We also see over 79 companies are now holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And look, obviously Bitcoin's one thing, and I think you need to have a Bitcoin position. You need to be DCAing Bitcoin on a daily basis, whatever the case is. I think you can truly not own enough Bitcoin over the landscape of the next 6 months, but also just years into the future. I just see this asset class being one of the most valued assets in the world as time keeps progressing. So I do think, you know, Bitcoin aside, obviously, we are all waiting on altcoins to move. And yes, being down on your alts has been painful. Okay, my portfolio got completely crushed as well. Like everyone's portfolio got crushed. If you were holding AI, gaming, whatever the case is, like the last few months have not been friendly. Ever since Trump launched the Trump coin, the altcoin market has just been absolutely decimated. So, of course, being down 60%, let's just say, for example, on your altcoin portfolio, yes, it's painful, but selling your altcoin portfolio right now or before potentially the bull cycle and the bullish time period of the 4-year cycle coming up later this year, I think that is incredibly worse. And I 100% agree with this tweet. So just moving into what am I looking at in this market? What sectors am I isolating? Which tokens am I most interested in simply just accumulating massive positions for whenever the market does show strength enough for altcoins to start moving? Let's jump into that. And also, I will do a portfolio update video coming up. I do think it's going to be very valuable in this market. We did one a couple months ago to kind of update the post-Trump coin, post-altcoin dump portfolio allocation because altcoins just got crushed and it was time to shuffle up that portfolio. But coming up later this week, I will do an updated portfolio video because I think that's going to provide a lot of clarity because I have cut down my portfolio tremendously over the course of time to simply just top protocols per sector. So right now, the protocols that I am most interested in the sectors of gaming, AI, and RWA. You guys already know that. But for the most part, like I'm simplifying my bets almost down to just handfuls per sector. I think that overcompensating and overanalyzing the space and saying, well, I just want exposure to everything, that's going to kill you at the end of the day. Managing a million positions is hard on your psychology, and it's just hard to manage taking profits on every single coin as they navigate through all-time highs or whatever the case is. So that's hard enough. But number two is you want to have concise bets that are really calculated that give you exposure to the broader ecosystems that you're investing in. So for me, gaming. Just rolling into gaming, I think first and foremost, Avalanche is a great example of this, okay? Avalanche not only has DeFi, RWA, you have Grayscale supporting. As you can see here, Grayscale is bull posting DeFi on Avalanche. It's one of the biggest gaming chains. They have MapleStory with 250 million players. And yes, this IP in this game is being built natively on Avalanche. We also have Off the Grid, which now their maximum price caps for assets have been increased by 10x. I am excited to see what these items sell for whenever mainnet does go live. We see Beam, which is operating their massive network in their treasury, all on an Avalanche L1 protocol. And as you can see here, over 50% of the node tokens have already been staked. So, AVAX is a great example of an ecosystem play that gives you exposure to so many different things whenever it comes to the landscape of not just gaming, but also different layers and different niches within this blockchain. So first of all, Avalanche. This is 100% a buy for me. And it has been a buy ever since we, went down all the way to $14. And I think $20, where we're still sitting at today, is a great DCA. But moving on down the line, other examples that are way more just entrenched in gaming. Well, first of all, I love Gun. I do think that Gun at this price is still a solid buy. We were calling buys here at 400, 450, and 500 mil. Currently sitting at 600 million. Look, the recent uptrend in gaming has been good to see. And yes, you might be looking at gaming coins and saying, what uptrend are you talking about? But at the end of the day, we see Cambria with $1 million prize pool. People out here grinding this every single day. We see Treeverse coming out with their open season 1 reward program, which is almost 3% of their token supply up for grabs. We've seen on-chain games do very well at the end of the day. Like some of these Ponzi's have fallen through, but it's at the same time, it's just been good to see the liquidity and interest in these types of games, especially when there are rewards on the table. And look, there are definitely going to be rewards and cash and capital to be had in the Gunzilla off the grid ecosystem. I think that this trends closer to $1 billion if we start to see gaming and altcoins heat up. So to me, the fact they launch in such a down climate as well, it is just the #1 crypto game. by far. So I think having exposure to gun, even if it's small exposure, if you're scared of the market cap, to diluted market cap, whatever the case is, look, there's no unlocks on this coin for quite some time. I do think a very bullish horizon for the next 6 to 8 months on the Gunzilla token, especially if gaming coins start to rise. I think this one's going to lead the charge as far as how explosive this can really be. So that's another example. They have an L1. They operate under an ecosystem, an avalanche that's going to also get the network effect. But there's so much under the hood. And Gunzilla, the gun token, not only gives you exposure to off the grid, but any other studio games that Off the Grid and Gunzilla do produce in the future, this is going to be the currency that is attached to that. Moving down the line here, I obviously love Beam as well. We just talked about their node token stats. Over 50% of the node tokens already in use. Their games are actually doing very well, and Forgotten Playland is one of the most underrated games in crypto. I know a lot of people in the gaming space absolutely actually love this game, and many people don't even know it's built on the Beam network. This is also underneath the Avalanche scope, so you're getting a lot of exposure here. If Beam or if Gunzilla pop off as far as token price, network effect goes to AVAX. And if AVAX has a broader run, AVAX ecosystem is going to run. So, and there are actually a few consecutive tokens here. I do think right now Ronin at 52 cents is an absolute steal. They also have exposure to Cambria. You can play the Cambria game, the $1 million plus prize pool with Ronin or Abstract at this point in time. And look, this is the king of gaming. I love AVAX. It is definitely my #1 major protocol DCA that I've been putting bids into for the last 6 to 8 to 12 months at this point in time. But at the same time, look, Ronin is the king of gaming, from player counts to on-chain metrics to everything from a long-term time perspective. They are the ones that founded crypto gaming at the end of the day with Axie Infinity. They were the first ones to show proof of concept, and every game in their ecosystem is pretty stellar whenever it comes to the on-chain metrics. I do love Ronin at 50 cents. This just feels way too undervalued at a $500 million fully diluted market cap. Look, and this is no shade, but you just have to think of undervalued protocols, and Ronin versus Gunzilla. You know, Gunzilla, the fully diluted market cap is higher than Ronin, and Ronin has been a long-standing blockchain ecosystem with many elements, many games. I think that you can just fairly say that that is undervalued versus a $600 million market cap on Gunzilla. I might be bullish on Gunzilla, but I just think it's criminally undervalued that Ronin is trading at a lower FDV than what Gun token is trading at. And then, of course, to wrap up the gaming sector is, I think, Superverse, 50 cents, another one that is just absolutely a steal at these prices. We've seen this at upwards of $2 in the right climate. And on top of that, they are partnered with over 200 plus games, blockchains, and ecosystems. So you get a ton of different exposure here whenever you have Superverse in your portfolio. And every play that I just gave you guys is actually such a good way to have broader exposure to the gaming niche. All of these things tie into multiple games, multiple ecosystems, and some honorable mentions. You guys know I love Prime, but Prime is just getting crushed right now because of the lackluster execution that, you know, Prime stakers feel like they didn't get a lot of Wayfinder prompt tokens. So I think this will bounce back, but we need to see Parallel Colony as well as their first-person shooter provide a little bit of hopium into the ecosystem to see this bounce back. I do think $2.50 is a great DCA, however, and another honorable mention here is going to be Zentry. I got some really bullish news this last weekend that I can't share quite yet, but I think Zentry is in for a wild ride, especially if altcoins turn back around. There are some catalysts for this coin that are going to send this back up above that 3-cent level, in my opinion, which we saw just not that long ago, guys. Which also, you look at the value prop. You know, in January, this coin was almost at 4 cents. Now it's sitting at 1 cent. This is a 75% drop on a coin that's tied into the Ronin ecosystem. They have the Ragnarok IP. Their activity on their platform just speaks for itself. So definitely looking at Zentry here. Below $100 million FDV, that is just criminally undervalued as well, in my opinion. So gaming, I'm looking at AVAX, Gun, Beam, Super, Ronin, and Zentry. Also honorable mention with Prime at $2.50. And look, AI. You cannot ignore AI in this market. AI is here to stay. It is the biggest emerging industry in the entire world, and I don't care about, there's a lot of projects out there in the AI scene. If I just flip over to my AI watch list here, let's go to the top. In Nexus, you can create all these different watch lists. Like I mentioned, if you're not using Nexus, you are definitely losing out on some edge here. We have my AI watch list. Obviously, 𝗏 is the big winner, but we're also seeing coins like Fetch, or ASI, you could call it now, up 20%. SingularityNet up 25% as well. So some of these altcoins in the AI sector are starting to wake up, and every single day you're seeing news across Grok or ChatGPT, OpenAI, different protocols out there. I mean, AI is the most advanced technology that is just overtaking everything in the world right now. So I think having exposure to AI crypto is a must. For me, number one has been 𝗏. We've been screaming to buy this for quite some time. I do think that Render is due to catch up a little bit, however. If we look at the fully diluted here, we see 𝗏 sitting at 6.3 billion and Render sitting at 2.7 billion. I think that Render is starting to become a little bit undervalued versus 𝗏. I mean, at the end of the day, I think they're the two best overall AI projects. Like, I don't care about ICP. Near Protocol just doesn't excite me quite as much as Render and 𝗏 whenever I just look at what's going on those projects. I love 𝗏 and Render. And if I'm moving down the line here, and if I have to pick a lower market cap AI token, I'd still be looking at stuff like either Neural AI or GPU, but I want to see a more risk on market before I start deploying more capital into those lower market cap projects. So for me, I'm very much top heavy in my AI bags right now. I'm looking at 𝗏 and I'm looking at Render, and that's really like the scope of my AI bags at this point in time. I still have positions in GPU. I have some Humans AI as well, and also Neural AI. So those are some that I still have positions into, but very, very small in comparison to my top heavy bags, which is honestly like 𝗏's carrying my whole portfolio right now, as well as Gun. I did invest in the pre-sale in Gunzilla, so I've held every single token there. I'm looking very nicely on both of those bags currently, and also seeing Gunzilla up 20% today is a great thing. But 𝗏 is really the one that is carrying, for the most part, my entire portfolio and my AI portfolio at this point in time. And then when it comes to RWA, you could look at Ondo. I think Ohm is out the window. I understand people, believe what the team says, and they don't think it was team dump or it was market makers, this. But when you lose trust in crypto, it's really hard to gain that back. And even if it pumps 200, 300% from here, I just don't see it ever eclipsing all-time highs ever again, unless something substantial was to happen or some sort of a systematic, calculated plot to get this thing back above all-time highs. So for me, I'm ruling out Mantra, unfortunately. I'd be looking at Ondo, but I'm also going to be researching some new RWA projects to try to see if we can find some undervalued plays there in the RWA niche. And that's really it, guys. The one thing also I want to give alpha on, and I guess it's not even that much alpha, we also have, the Base network right now. They're coming out with this Zora coin. They've been popularizing the coin everything, and I think it's a little bit toxic, and just seeing Coinbase and Base Foundation push this is kind of baseless, no pun intended. I think that there's not a lot of substance to it, and they're clearly trying to pump the bags on this Zora coin. So whenever this goes live, I will most likely 99% be putting in a big short on this. I think this is definitely a shorting opportunity. This goes live in 2 days. So I'll update if I do end up putting a short in on this token. And I definitely want to do more live streams with you guys on this channel. I know we used to do live streams all the time. I would love to come in here, answer some questions from you guys, maybe even do some live trades, longs and shorts, and we'll be able to jump into the Nexus platform to do so. We have Nexus trading going live literally within a week for NFT holders. So I'm really excited to get that out to our community. And then every user will be able to trade, whether you're a paid member, NFT holder, or just a free member on the platform, 300 plus pairs, as well as on-chain equities, major markets, Forex, equities, etc. So really excited. And we will be doing more live streams here on this channel. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I know it was a lot of coverage in a pretty short period of time. We're still under 20 minutes on this video. So if you guys like the video, drop down, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. We're going to be coming out with lots of content this week as there is lots to cover. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.